Hi everyone, and welcome back to Rise with Sarah Sincotta. I am your host, Sarah, and today I have the amazing and wonderful business development manager, Sandra Dodson, joining me from the Rent Shop in Auckland. Thank you so much, Sandra, for joining me today.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Oh, Sandra, when we first connected, and I know it was initially through socials and we've been following each other for quite some time, but our conversation was just beautiful and there was so much synergy there. And I'm truly blown away by not just your numbers that you do year in and year out, but just who you are as a person and the energy and aura that you have, Sandra. So I'm absolutely honored to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yay! So
Yay.
Sandra, for those that do not know you, who is Sandra?
So I fell into sales at the young age of 21, and it was actually a girl came up and shoulder tapped me at the gym and said, "Hey, I think you'd love my job." And so I had no idea what I was doing, went along, got the job, absolutely thrived in it, and realized that sales was my thing. And basically the last 38 years have just flown by in different industries, different roles in sales and marketing, and I've just loved it. Yeah. And so basically my whole life, apart from a very short stint where I dropped out of sales and owned a restaurant and had two daughters and built two houses, project managed those. Apart from that, I've been in sales my whole life, my whole career.
I love that. How do you go having two daughters, Sandra? Keep you on your toes?
Absolutely. And now I'm a grandmother, so I'm very busy.
Wonderful. Wow,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, Sandra, today we had, we brainstormed and we come up with some topics we wanted to discuss. And I think it's things that we're so passionate about. And one of them was follow the process. We're both massive believers of, having the systems and processes in place and following those processes. And the other one that I loved a post that you did, and I was like, oh, I have to get her on, was around your business planning for your growth for the year. So I'm really excited to touch on those today. So, Sandra, what is your belief when it comes to following the process as a BDM?
100%. And it's funny because one of the things I've put down here to share is about belief. And so we'll cover that later on. But in the process, it's 100%. It's actually funny, when I first met with Alex, who's the owner of the Rent Shop, I asked him, what's your follow-up process? And he shared with me that it was BDM. And so I was very excited. And when I started, had a quick training over it and have used it since day one. And I can directly attribute my success in doing volume to having a follow-up process. And it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. And if you don't have that CRM system, if you want to do volume, it's all right if you only want to do a handful of managements every month. But if you want to do volume, how can you retain that information about every owner that's specific to them and be able to follow up in a unique way that allows you to win the business, because you show that you care and you know that information to each owner. And so I have thrived having this follow-up system, and I just love it. So every day that email hits my inbox and every day I have those follow-ups, I have to do. It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I love that. A couple of things that really stood out that you said there, Sandra, was your unique approach. I think, and I've witnessed it before. And, my first early on year as a BDM, I was very much not utilizing my CRM system to its full potential. And I'm also a massive advocate for IRE, but it's there as a tool to help us. It doesn't mean that we just have stock standard templates that we just send to everyone, because we need to bring our personality into those emails, into those templates. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. So I've not once sent out a bulk email to everyone. Every single one is tailored uniquely to that owner.
I love that. And the other thing that you mentioned was that you need to have that process in place so that every day you hold yourself accountable. It's a non-negotiable for you that today, these are the people I need to follow up. These are the people that I need to speak with. So I want to go into, with your utilization of IRE and BDM, what are the main features that you love that assist you in your role as a BDM?
So it's really simple using that follow-up tool, but also taking notes. So every time I do a follow-up, I write notes. If I get an email response, I'll copy and paste and pop it in there. So it's in one place. So I can quickly say Bob Jones calls me. I quickly go in Bob Jones and I go and I can see every single conversation we've had very quickly in a snapshot. And so I'm not having to go, oh, hang on, Bob, give me a minute to refresh my memory, because you've got to understand, I've used this since day one when I started in January 2021, and I'm actually winning jobs at the moment, contracts that are from March 2021. And it's so, who's going to remember stuff that you did 3 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so I love it for that. So I use it very simply for accountability and for keeping me on track, and basically track my wins. So at the end of every month, I've got accountability. I can run a report on that very simply to show, again, where the business came from. I'm tracking how they heard about us. So I'm using it to drill down. So again, we can focus our marketing spend on where I'm putting that information into IRE. So the system is only as good as I am at using it and completing that information. So we've fine-tuned it since I've been there for the last 3 years, and we've got it working perfectly for our business.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that so much. And what would you say to any BDMs watching, listening, or directors that are still using spreadsheets and they think that that is their CRM?
Well, but politely. It blows my mind. I guess that comes down to ego. So I'm just going to touch on that briefly. I had a mentor once, and they said, use the tools, don't be the tool. So you are, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, my business will keep functioning because everything I've ever done is in that system. I'm a team player, I'm a company girl. And so I want to make sure that everything I'm doing is recorded for what's best for the business. And I think some people don't use a system because they think they are bigger than a system. Whereas, and it's okay to use a spreadsheet if you want to run and play small, but if you want to play big, get yourself a CRM system.
Yeah, I love that because there's so many functions, and also I feel like there'll be missed opportunities, Sandra.
100%, and I can share that in other businesses, if someone's left and you've got to get their spreadsheet and you go through it, the information is only as good as the person putting that information into any system, right? Whether it's a spreadsheet or IRE BDM.
Yeah.
But it's like when I've picked up someone's spreadsheet and I've gone and done some follow-up calls, we've missed so much business because they just didn't do that follow-up call in time. And I want to say, if you're not following up, someone else is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, how much do you want to help someone? Because if
That's
you
right.
help that person, you won't miss the follow-up. You'll definitely have it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
what do you think some of the other benefits are, Sandra, or that has helped you in terms of scale? And we'll touch on some of your numbers a bit later on, but what are the benefits that utilizing your CRM has helped you to get to where you are today?
So one of the things I do is at the start of the month, I want to set myself a target, and I'm a very much a target girl. Set myself a target, and I want to smash it. So like, say my target's 20 a month, I'm going to do 30. So the first thing I'll do with IRE BDM is I'll do a refined search. I'll see everyone I've sent a RMA contract out to. I'll do those, and those are I say front load the month. So those, say at the moment, I've got about 60 contracts out. Those 60 people in those first couple of days are going to be contacted, and then they're going to be scheduled to be contacted the following week. So for me, that's a huge aspect of what I do by front loading the month and not just sitting there as an order taker waiting for the phone to ring or anything like that. So I think IRE has helped me do that really well, because I just like today I was off site and I had 2 hours and I just sat there and I pulled up IRE and I probably did about 30 follow-ups. So I can do it anywhere so long as I've got my tools. And I think that benefits the business, that I'm not, it doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing, I can always pull it up and be on it, and all that information's there. So
Yeah.
I think that's a huge benefit for me and also the business.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that, as I touched on with the marketing, so we've gone through, say, the first 2 years that I was there, and then we refined it for the third year I've just completed. And we actually wanted to really dig down into our marketing where people were hearing about us. And so we put categories in there so we could track it. And it really did surprise us how people were finding out about us and where they were coming from. And I think by running those reports at the end of the month, I run reports for the owner, and I can show him exactly where all of the leads have come from. And that's perfect for return on investment when it comes to marketing. And me as a BDM, I can then go to the business and say, hey, this is where the leads are coming from. This is where I want to focus, and this is where I want to target to enable me to do my job better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is understanding your numbers, and your database allows you to track absolutely everything. What's working, what's not working, where do we need to spend more time, energy, investment in, do we want to get more leads from a certain amount of source? Awesome. Let's look back. Let's refine it, define it. So I love that you are utilizing that, Sandra, and I know how passionate you are about it. And it's just takes me back to my BDM days. I love it. But I love that the analogy of a front loader. I really love that. So BDMs, if you're listening, have your front loader at the start of every month. I love it. And Sandra, do you think that this helped you then be consistent with your hitting your goals, whether that's monthly or yearly, by being able to visually see every single day or week or month where you are up to?
100%. It's like that nagging aunt that sits on your shoulder, and it's like, here's your follow-ups today, and you just can't, off you go. You've got to do it, right? Because the next day it comes in with those 10 follow-ups, and you've got another 10 to do. And so before you know it, you're sitting on 50 follow-ups that you haven't done. Yeah. And it's like it is that nagging aunt sitting on your shoulder telling you to do your job better. And I love it. I love being held to account, whether it's by myself or IRE BDM.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, I would say, and I've said this from day dot, I've used it from day one, and I've used it consistently, and heading into my, fourth year. Like I said, I was off site for 2 hours today. I sat there and smashed out 30 follow-ups.
Yeah, that's great. It's brilliant. And I'm going to ask you a question, Sandra. Do you prefer phone calls or emails?
I'm a belly-to-belly girl, so that phone call is always first. 100% pick up the phone, no email shares personality or tone. A phone is number one every single time, and then of course a face-to-face.
Yeah, I love that. And I find that is the most common response that I get from business development managers is picking up the phone and making those calls. So how do you feel then, Sandra, about making those calls and then really having that boundary on utilizing tech and the automation? Because IRE BDM does have great campaigns that you can run. What do you think, especially for someone new to the industry? Would you be encouraging them to just run the campaigns at the start, or would you be encouraging them to, have those conversations, be that hunter before they introduce the campaigns or that automation?
Yes, absolutely. So it's interesting that you talk about campaigns, because as I said, this is year 4 starting fresh for me. And I'm just now looking at how I can utilize campaigns based on what I've done for the previous 3 years, how I can go back into all of that data that's stored there and run a campaign through that system. But up until now, I haven't felt that I was ready to use a campaign. I want to grow through belly-to-belly, face-to-face relationships and build that trust so that people have that belief in you. And there's that magic word. It's my biggest word in this business. And it's like, so they believe in you, and so they trust you, and then they give you their business. And then it flows on, right? You can't get that in a campaign. You won't get referrals from a campaign, whereas you will get referrals from that phone call or belly-to-belly contact.
Yeah. because that's what it's about, right? Those relationships and people actually knowing who you are. I was talking to someone the other day and they said they had been getting emails from this particular person. And then when they actually came to meet them, it was nothing, this person was nothing like what the tone or personality was in the emails, because it was just stock standard templates done. And they're like, oh, this person's actually awesome. But by the emails, they had already painted a picture of what this person was going to be. So I think that's a great reminder for everyone that, you know, yes, there'll become a time where we can utilize that automation, but people will still want to just do business with you and know and understand who you are, how you operate, because that's how trust is built. Would you agree, Sandra?
Absolutely. And I want to say it's a two-way street as well. And so when you get an owner that insists on just having email communication, how can you email any information when you don't know what their needs are? It's like, you know, like you've got someone and they've got this is their need, and you're just going to go like that, you know, spray them with information without knowing what their actual need is. So you actually want to match up their needs so that you can actually, that's how you win the business. Pain point solution, boom.
Boom. Yeah, absolutely. And we know that BDMs, well, typically a BDM will be a hunter and a nurturer. Do you find you're more of a hunter or more of a nurturer, or both?
You'd probably want to ask my boss that, but I actually think I'm a quite a unique balance of both. Like I am a crack hot hunter, but I'm also I'm a big nurturer, and that comes out in my style when I'm talking to people. And it's like my door's always open, no matter once I step out of the relationship and hand it over to a property manager, they've got my number, they've got my email, they know my door's always open. And that's happened today. I had something escalated to me directly from an owner I signed up 6 months ago. Not a problem. I'm still part of the business. They know they can come to me. So I think I do that balance 50-50, which is quite unique.
Yeah. And I think one of the key points that as well, Sandra, is business development managers are still what's the word I'm looking for? Responsible for the retention of that client. And it is definitely much a team effort when it comes, because a BDM is the one establishing that trust and relationship first with that client. And you would know from your experience, Sandra, there's so much more opportunities that can come up from that one client if we continue to nurture that relationship. So what's your strategy, or do you have a system or process around how you will continue to nurture that client throughout their journey?
Absolutely. So I, again, through IRE, I will schedule a follow-up call 3 months after I've brought on new business. And it's a two-prong reason for doing that. It is just to connect and touch base. And don't get me wrong, I check that everything's okay before I call them. I don't go in blind. So I've checked in the back office to make sure, rents are all paid, there's nothing going on, have a chat with the property manager. And then I will call them and say, how are you going? Ask some questions, have you got any concerns? And then, of course, that's when I ask for the Google review.
Yeah, I love that.
Send them a link, tell us what you love about us, and then they'll give us a Google review. And I always ask them to use my name and also the property manager's name.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So while we're talking about property managers, Sandra, and that process, the BDM to PM handover, I want to explore that, because we're talking about, we've gone out, we've hunted for the business, we still need to nurture that client, the property manager is going to nurture that client. What do you think are some really great traits that a BDM should have and instill when they're doing that process to the property manager?
So you can't give enough information to a property manager. So we have a what I like to say is a 5-star handover process. So I have a checklist. The property manager has a checklist. And so I have to fill in a template, which when I'm, loading a contract and everything like that, I will send it through to my admin support person, copy in the property manager. I give them all the relevant information. There is nothing not included, even the fact if they're, for example, some owners are going away for 2 weeks on holiday, you know, you can only contact them through this channel. I talk about personal information that I've gathered from the owners about themselves. I talk about communication style, how they want to be communicated with. Everything I can give them, I will give the property manager to set them up for success, and then hand over. I stay involved with the property manager and communicate on a regular basis. Where, you know, I'm in the office a lot, so it's like I will talk to my team and say, how are you going with that house? You know, how did the first viewing go? Where are we at? Have you communicated back with the owner? And, you know, of course they're all over it, but it's just a chat to make sure, did we set the price right? Do you need me to step back in? What can I do? So I stay very involved until that property is income producing and the tenants have moved in and the bond is lodged. And then I step out and the owners know I've introduced the owner to our property manager, so they know who they're dealing with. And then I step out and leave them to it. And again, that's when I'll do the 3 monthly follow-up call. How's it going? And, you know, chit chat. And then we have little things that we do, you know, like the 1 year anniversary card, things like that, to keep in touch with those owners.
That's fantastic. I love that. So importance, BDMs, is your handover process to your PMs. Make it easy for them, right, Sandra? I want to make it easy for them and for the clients. Nothing to be missed. And especially if we're looking at growth, we want to be able to tell the PMs, hey, they might be purchasing another property in a year or 2 years. Like,
Correct.
that's key information that we want everyone to know, that information in the team.
And I don't leave it to the property manager to come back to me about that information. As soon as I know an owner's got more properties, that's in my IRE BDM tool, so that I'm following up, I'm having those conversations. So I stay in touch when I know they've got more properties coming on, you know.
That's absolutely fantastic. Before we talk about business growth planning, that I absolutely love, Sandra, I am going to mention a couple of things, because you have been a finalist now 2 years in a row for Business Development Manager of the Year for REINZ Awards, and absolutely phenomenal that you have done over 350 managements that you have been able to generate from the business. So firstly, I want to celebrate you, Sandra, and just say a massive well done, because that is absolutely huge numbers that you have done. Absolutely huge.
Thank you so much. And it's really funny because, you know, I came into this industry with a huge amount of experience. So, you know, yes, I came into a new industry, but I didn't come in without a rock solid skill set, which I've utilized in this industry. But I knew no different. And I think that's one of the big things to share with people. You know, like I wasn't told that you should only do 10 a month or 12 a month or 15 a month. So when I was told he'd like me to do 20 a month, I wrote down 30 as my target. And, you know, I've literally smashed that year on year on year, 3 years in a row. And I didn't know it was phenomenal. So, you know, I just did it because it was just what I wanted to do without that. And it's funny because I'm going to share one of my books, and it's about the glass ceiling limit that people have. If you know no different, you don't limit yourself. So you don't have that limit perception put on you. It's like, you know, do ever many you want. Yeah. And it's like when I sat down with Alex, who's the owner, you know, and he told me what my package was. I, in my head, was like, okay, I want to earn a multiple 6-figure income. How am I going to do that? And I knew what numbers I had to do to smash my own personal financial goals.
Oh, I love that you just mentioned that. And that's actually one of the things that I talk about to some of my clients, Sandra, because similar to you, I knew what the business expectations were in terms of what they wanted me to generate, but then I created my own personal target. And I actually worked backwards because of how much money I wanted to make. All right. And typically BDMs, it's no secret, we're on commission. And I knew that if I hit what I needed, then that would support my life and my goals that I had in my personal life as well. And that was a big driver and a big change in my mindset when I was like, cool, if I can do this, then I can do more and more and more. And then it was just, like you said, I knew that my KPI was there, but I didn't want to limit myself to just go, oh, okay, well, I can list 20 properties a month and that's it. It's like, no, let's do more. However, Sandra, I must say, full disclosure, is I was listing and leasing at that time. So it was, over 30. I was very much struggling to keep up. So VAs now are great BDMs if you are listing and leasing to do those higher numbers. But I completely agree with what you said. It's not limit yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Like, play big if you want to play big too. Yeah.
That's right. And not everyone does want to play big, right? So not everyone, like for me, again, my boss chuckles because on a Sunday, hubby, I'm married to an Australian, hubby watches, if grass growing was a sport, he'd be watching it. So on a Sunday afternoon, he's watching all the footy, whatever's on, and I'll sit there, glass of wine, and smash out the week's follow-ups to do. So I'm again front loading my week. So Monday I come in and I can't tell you how good it feels to hit the ground running on a Monday, and it's like boom, 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 contracts are dropping. And it's that whatever your action is will create the results. And so for me, it's like I don't mind sitting there on a Sunday afternoon and spending a couple of hours in winter while the sport's on and hubby's pouring me a glass of wine. It's whatever works for you. We run it like our own business as a BDM. So you've got to run it to make sure you're earning what you want to earn.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, how similar we are, Sandra. But I always say that the BDM role is like a business within a business.
Correct.
So on that note, I would love to discuss with you your business growth planning. Again, I was super impressed by it because of the initiative that you take, because it isn't your business, right? However, it's like your home. You're there all the time. You're helping really grow that business because of you as well, your skill sets, your personality, your points of differences, your why. So I want to talk on that. Is what really was your driver to go, all right, every month I'm going to do my business growth planning?
Great question. Apart from money.
That's all right.
I like to win, but I also want to see the people around me winning. I want to see the property managers earn as much as they can possibly earn. So, understanding their portfolios and their business was really important to me. I wanted to know how I could help them achieve their goals. So as a BDM, I am directly responsible for bringing on new business and allocating it and helping people achieve their financial goals. So it's the big picture that's always important for me. It's also what's best business practice. Integrity is very high for me. So it's like I want everyone to win, but I want us to do it in the best way possible. And I think that's been a driver for me. When I first met with Alex, I knew nothing about property management. I didn't even know what he did. And so, I fell in love with his vision. And so everything I do is aligned to what his vision is for this business. Alex and Jody, they have a vision. And so I bought into that vision. And I think that's really powerful. Again, that comes back to belief, and I've written it here, belief in the company, belief in your management team, belief in your property managers, belief in your admin team. It's right down to the cleaner. And lastly, belief in yourself. So I think that's what's driven me, is that I don't want to be the only one smashing goals and winning. I want everyone to be having fun, most of all, because this is a fun industry to be in.
Oh, absolutely.
I want people to be earning what they deserve, because it's not an easy industry to be in. I watch our property managers and I'm in awe of them.
Yeah.
They are the rock stars. I get the accolades, but really they are the rock stars. And I can't do what I do if I didn't have such an amazing team behind me.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I know that you said it a couple of times, and my word for last year was actually belief. Funny that, Sandra. And we didn't know that before we jumped on today. And it was just believing in every single thing in my life and myself, or the people that I have around me, and backing myself and really believing that anything was possible. And I think that stemmed from having that time to reflect as well and go, wow. And I'm sure you might be the same, as like, we can do this. This is what we can do. But it's having that belief. And what do you believe in? And what are we telling ourselves every day that that we believe in? And is that the truth in the things that we believe in? So like, tell me more about your belief. And actually, question, have you watched Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I love that synergy there too.
Yeah. So with regards to belief, like I've had several mentors through my career. This is, not my first rodeo. And it's interesting because a mentor is crucial if you want to grow and keep progressing yourself. And it's funny because mentors are so powerful. I've actually had a mentor that mentored me out of a role I was in because we realized it wasn't the right fit for me.
Yeah.
And so my belief that I was doing everything right was correct. And she actually turned around to me and she went, "You need to leave." She was being paid by the company to mentor me into another area. And it was like, I don't want that. She's like, "No, you need to leave." And another mentor, he mentored me out of a career path I was choosing because, again, he mentored me so well. He made me realize I wasn't the problem. The problem wasn't here. The problem was in the industry I was trying to work in. And so I was able to step out because my self belief was so staunch. And I think I've spoken at several events last year, and I say to people, if you don't believe in yourself, all those 5 things I listed, do a snapshot and mark yourself out of 10. What's your belief in the company you're working for? What's your belief in your management team you're working for? What's your belief in the property managers, the admin support? And what's your belief in self? Mark yourself out of 10. And anything that's not a 10 out of 10, go to work in that area. Go to work in that area and improve it. Go to your boss, go to your, the owner, go to the manager and say, "Hey, I'm struggling in this area of the business. How can you help me get to a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
All of those sorts of things. And I think self-belief, like mine, is so staunch because I fell in love with a vision I was sold, and year in, I'm happy. So long as I'm passionate about what I'm doing, so long as I'm having fun,
Yeah.
and so long as I'm winning, you've got me.
Yeah. So important. I love that. And I'm a massive thing of we need to align with businesses that share similar values to us. And I think
100%.
and great leaders, they'll use that fire in our bellies and they will expand on that together, as a team. So really great reflection, Sandra, what you said. So BDMs, got some homework to do. Rate yourself 10 out of 10 out of those 5 components that Sandra mentioned. So I think I want to go back to the growth planning because I know that you do an analysis on the business at the end of the month, which I know we touched on briefly before about what's working, what's not working, where the lead sources are coming from, where do we need to perhaps spend some extra money for your marketing allocation. What else would you include, Sandra, in your business planning monthly?
So one of the things that I did, I've done the last 2 years, 1 month, is that I've done an internal promotion with our existing owners. And, the first time I rolled it out, I got 30 managements just by sending a little internal email campaign to our existing owners. 30 managements dropped into my inbox. It's like you really have to be looking at the business you've got and how you can leverage off that business to keep growing. I mean, it's not going to all come from internal, but you've got so many opportunities. You've got a referral, you could run a referral campaign. What other properties do you have? What's the incentive to bring more business to us if you've got your risk spread across 3 or 4 property management companies? Why can't I have all of it? All of those opportunities are sitting in our existing owner base. So I'm always looking at what I could do internally for our property managers with their current owners. So I will come up with concepts and run it past the management team, get sign off, and we go to market very quickly. I can have it concept, sign off, and done in a day, and it's out there, and we're running that month. So it's like if I look and I've got nothing coming up, if I look and it's like a quiet patch, which we've had, I started and we went into lockdown. So we've had all sorts of things to contend with over the last 3 years, as everyone has in Australia and New Zealand. And so I'm always looking, and if I can see, like when I'm front loading my month and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm light this month, let's go and run a campaign, I will do that. But also, like, you know, what can we do as a team to improve our Google reviews? What can we do as a team to improve our relationship with our owners? Because it's all very well me wanting to have those relationships, but our owners deal with the property managers 99% of the time. So it's like running campaigns where we'll get everyone doing love calls, things like that, and we have fun as a team doing it. So there's lots of things that that we come up with as a team, myself with the management team, to roll out as a business to keep our owners engaged and happy and valued. One of the big things I did last year was a VIP program, put a VIP program together where I went through and I ascertained in each person's portfolio. And it's not a real BDM task, it's actually above and beyond. But, you know, like if you lose an owner who's got multiple properties, that hurts. So it's like, who are our VIP owners, and do we have enough arms wrapped around them? Do those VIP owners know who we are, or do they just know one person in the business? So it was ensuring that our VIP owners are known, valued, and not going to walk out of our business for no reason.
Great initiative, Sandra, and it's no wonder why you're such a top performing business development manager, because it really is. I think business development managers, I don't think they also get enough credit, Sandra, because people like yourself, you are innovative. You come up with ideas that are going to help the business and the team. And especially because we are a completely representation of the entirety of the business. It's not just you working, it's everyone is working different parts of the business to ensure that the clients feel valued, to ensure that it's growing, to ensure that you're giving back to your community and you're genuinely helping people. Something that you said was, you know, about your VIP owners and making them feel valued. It's, as human beings, there are some core principles that we all need and want, and that is to be seen and heard and to feel valued. Right? So it's how can we adapt that into the business so all of our clients are experiencing that, so they are seen, so they are heard, so they feel valued. So I just absolutely love all of the things that you've done, and just your one-liners too, Sandra. I love, like, I wrote down here to go back afterwards, but the front loader, the 5-star process, your love calls, like I absolutely enjoy that, the analogies that you've put towards the tasks that you do as well. And I can see that fun side of you come out when you talk about those things. So what's one thing that you could suggest to any business development managers, whether that's, you know, they're new to the industry or they've been doing it for 20, 30 years, that they should be implementing today?
Pick up the phone, spend a day, just pick up the phone and ring existing owners. Grab someone's portfolio, grab their owner list with a phone number, and pick up the phone and ring everyone in their portfolio. You know, like when I very first started, that's what I was asked to do. I was given 3 portfolios, ring these people. I had no clue what I was doing. You know, yes, I understand property. Yes, I understand the terminology and all of the rest of it, but I had no idea. And, you know, I got a lot of like, why are you calling? This is something wrong. But it was just like, no, I'm just ringing to check in and make sure you're happy with everything. And, you know, like, and, you know, like, so I think if you want to become an expert, like it's 10,000 hours to master your craft, right? So it's like, get on the phone and call, talk until you're comfortable doing it. I think one of the things why you have such a strong posture or belief is because you believe in what you're selling. So I can't sell anything that I don't believe in. And I never would. I'd never flog something for a sale. But if you believe in what you're doing and to grow that belief and master your craft, get on the phone, because no one is going to believe you more than someone that can hear the passion in your voice. Yeah.
I love that, Sandra. And
yeah,
I think, yeah.
So I was just going to say, so many people are scared of the phone. So if you're scared of the phone, just practice your craft, Ring existing owners. They're the easiest ones to call. How are you? You know, what's going on? Are you thinking of buying any more properties in this coming 12 months? Yeah. What's happening with the family? Just build relationship, master your craft. The other thing is, if you don't have a follow-up system, I've written down 2 things.
Yeah.
If you don't have a follow-up system, get one. Go and talk to the owner of your company. They need to invest in a follow-up tool to allow you to become a rock star.
Yeah, I love that. Sandra, it's been an absolute honor having you on today, and I will put your details below for anyone who would love to have a chat. And it's definitely worth your while. BDMs, Sandra is a ball of fun and just an amazing human. So again, Sandra, thank you so much. There's so much to take away from you coming on today. So it's been amazing.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you've got some great takeaways from myself and Sandra today. And in true Sarah Sincotta style, keep rising.